What's up, guys? It's Victoria from Under Victoria's Spell, and I'm so excited about today's video because I am doing part 3 to reading Booktubers romance recommendations. And for the month of March, I have picked Nicki, and I absolutely adore Nicki. She is literally the sweetest soul, and I absolutely love her channel. I love her as a person, and I'm so excited to talk about Nicki, her channel, and the books that she recommends on her Booktube channel. So let's hop right into it. So before I talk about the 2 books that I read, I wanted to talk a little bit about Nicki's channel and about her. She actually lives in Canada, which I think is so cool. I have never been to Canada, so to hear her accent, and if you watch her like on Reading Sprint or her book club that she hosts with McKay, then you get little hints of like her life in Canada, and she shares some of that on Instagram and TikTok, which I just absolutely love. She has 1.82 subscribers on YouTube, and she deserves absolutely every single one of them, as well as so many more, because you can just see when she talks about the books that she's reading how much she loves these books and how much she really enjoys reading. And I just always, when I watch her videos, it feels like I'm at home. She just has that soothing voice. She's so comforting, and I just love hearing her talk about her favorite romance books, what she's been reading, and all her recommendations. So absolutely love her channel. Please go and check her out. She also hosts a book club with McKay, and they pick new books every month, so you should definitely check that out. But I'm gonna hop into the 2 books that I read for this video. Okay, so the first book that I'm gonna talk about is The Words by Ashley Jade. Nicki recommended this or talked about it in her top 10 books of 2022. I will link that video down below in case you want to watch it. And just hearing her talk about how hard-hitting that it was and how much it really like affected her enough to put it on her top 10 of 2022. And I knew how hyped this book was. I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick it up, because I am not a rock star romance reader. Those are typically not my favorite. Plus, the book was like 700 pages, so that's like a full ass fantasy book. So I was like, I really am going to need this to be angsty, fast paced, and I'm gonna need my heart broken and put back together again at least 3 times. And let me just tell you, this book did not disappoint. I ended up giving it 5 stars, and it is so well deserved. Let me just tell you, this book definitely broke me and put me back together so many times. So a little bit about this book. It follows our heroine and our hero as they are in high school, and they're kind of forced together in a classroom setting, and they end up spending a lot of time together. But he is kind of like the badass, like, you can't mess with me, and she's the nerdy girl who gets bullied. So it's that very typical high school romance, I guess you could say. But honestly, it just had such a different tone to it in the beginning, and I honestly truly believed their connection from the first page when they met each other. I was just hooked. I just had to know what was going to happen. This book obviously has a time jump in it, and he does something to her right before the time jump that is absolutely unforgivable. And so all these years later, she is hating him, rightfully so. And he is pretty much in his rock star phase, spiraling out of control, but there's only ever been one person that has been able to help him. So she is coming back into his life due to some financial reasons, and just to see their chemistry together, the pain that they've been through, it is just something that just held me on for dear life, and I just was sucked in by this entire story. Yes, it is a 700-page book, but trust me, it did not feel like it. It felt like a normal 400-page book. Like, it was so fast-paced. I could not stop turning the pages until the end of this book. And it's been a while since like I've bawled while reading a book. I bawled in this book. It was so emotional. It was so freaking good. I absolutely love Phoenix. I feel like he is just such a character that is misunderstood, but so many people can relate to him. And I just really think that if you have not given this book a chance, you definitely could. I feel like there's something in it for everyone, whether you're struggling with a disability, your self-image, or just looking for a really good love story. I feel like there's something in this book for absolutely everyone. I completely understand why Nicki put this in her top 10, recommends this book. It truly was just such a beautiful and heartbreaking love story, and you have to check this out. So Nicki, 5 stars for this one. You did it right, girl. Absolutely loved it. Okay, and the last book that I read for this video is Always Been You by QB Tyler. And originally I had picked out a different book, but I wasn't really vibing with it, and I actually really wanted to go with what I feel like Nicki's channel was, and that is taboo. I feel like she just does the taboo romances, and I needed to be a part of that. So I was looking through her channel, and I also went to her Instagram, and I saw her post this picture. I'll put it up here, and this is Always Been You by QB Tyler, and I have been wanting to try QB Tyler as an author. I know so many people love this author and this book, and I was like, you know what? This is the perfect time. I'm looking for something taboo, steamy, and, you know, I needed a little different from the words that just broke my soul, pretty much. So I decided to pick this up. I devoured it in one day. It was so good, but I did give it 3 stars. And I'll tell you why. I really understand why Nicki liked this book and why so many other people would like this book. But I will say there were some things in it, and if you know me as a reader, that I'm just not a fan of. And before I get into all that, let me tell you what the book is about. It follows our heroine as she has been adopted into this family at a very, very young age, like when she was still a baby. And she has grown up with her loving family and siblings. But she has been in love with her older brother since she was 13 or 14. And she's now in college, and they live very close to each other. And one night they decide to act on their impulses because he has been feeling the same way since she was 17, 18, even though he did not act on anything until she was 18. But don't even get me wrong, like in the beginning, I was totally hooked. I was like, okay, like sibling romance, they're not blood related, they're just adopted siblings, so calm down, people. But I was like, okay, I'm here for this taboo, I'm ready for the angst, like where's it gonna go? And the setup was amazing. The execution in the beginning was amazing. The part that was not amazing for me was the insta love and the insta happily ever after. I need angst throughout the whole book. I need a conflict. Like, I need something to keep me going. But they were just very like, I love you. Like, you're it for me from the very beginning. And I was like, that's not really my cup of tea. Like, it gave me very after vibes, a love letter to whiskey. You all already know how I feel about that. And I was so mad because I was like, oh my gosh, this is like perfect. Like, I'm trying a new author, I'm trying some taboo, I'm here for this angst. And I really thought that Kiwi Tyler could go somewhere different with this book. She could have drawn it out so much longer than she did instead of when they got together. I mean, I just felt like so many other factors could have been played into it and it wasn't, and it makes me really sad. But I still really enjoyed the story. Like, I was still held captive all the way till the end because I was like, how are people going to find out? How are they going to react? Because they have known each other since, I mean, she's known him since she was born and he's known her since he was 13. And I was like, I really want to know how this is going to go. And I felt like I was a little let down by it, to be honest with you. But I do see why people love this book. It just wasn't a 5-star read for me. It was still very enjoyable, but it's not going to be like the best book of all time or something that I would necessarily recommend to a reader unless you are a fan of insta love. Then I would definitely be like, this is an amazing book, but that is just not my cup of tea. But yeah, I totally see why Nicki recommended it. Didn't necessarily love it, but I know why she loves it. So, and those are the 2 books that I read from Nicki and her recommendations. I absolutely love Nicki. I will link her channel down below. She is the taboo queen. If you are looking for an anti-hero, for some mafia, for some dark good times, she is definitely the girl to go to. She is absolutely amazing, and make sure that you check out her channel, send her some love, and just go love her a ton. But I want to thank you, Nicki, so much for letting me use your channel and letting me read some really great books. And I cannot wait to continue this series on for the next few months, all throughout 2023. I already have April and May picked out, and I am very excited about those picks. But that's all that I have for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you've read either of these books and your thoughts on them. I would absolutely love to know, and I will see you all next week on my TBR video. Bye.